All right, and happy Sunday, everybody. How are you? It's great to be with you, and welcome. It is Sunday, August 13th, and my name is Rob Booker. I'll be your host. Now, to start things off, I've got a bunch of free stuff for you, and if that sounds great, it is. So I've put a link inside of the chat box, and I'm going to put it in there again. And at that link, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of free stuff. Now, what does that mean exactly? That means I'm going to send you a bunch of free materials to follow up on everything that we've talked about today and that we do talk to you about today. There's a lot of ground to cover in today's presentation, and we are here live on Sunday. And so I want to be able to follow up with you afterwards. Sometimes, there's a lot of information that comes in this presentation. I'm even going to teach you a full strategy, and you might want to follow up afterward and learn more about that strategy and dive deeper into it. But in the 45 minutes that we have here together today, we're not going to be able to cover all of that ground. So what I did was I put together a bunch of free materials for you to follow up. Now, included in these free materials at the link that I'm going to send you right here is number one, I've got live trading examples where I actually trade this strategy that I'm going to teach you in my own account, and you can watch me manage my own money, take the trade, feel the emotions related to the trade. And I think that's really helpful when you can see somebody going through it. I have a free $500 pivot point course. I'm going to touch on that course today. This is for sale on my own website for $500. I give it to the members of the Tim Sykes Challenge for free, and I'm just going to give it to you for free. I'm going to give you my contact information at the link above. So if you want to, you can follow up with me and you can ask me some questions about what we learn. Book list, my favorite trading books, and also a daily routine for aspiring millionaire traders. And that might be you. All right, if that's good, if you feel okay with that, then click the link in the chat box now. It's my way of saying thank you for being here on time, and I appreciate the chance to spend some time together with you. My name is Rob Booker. I'll be your host on this very happy Sunday, August 13th. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's 12 p.m. Central time, and I'm here on behalf of my friend Tim Sykes. Today, we're going to talk about the Tim Sykes Challenge, the millionaires inside the challenge, and the tips, the tricks, the habits, the routines of those millionaire traders, hopefully so that we can level up your trading. And I'm not here to make any money off of you. I'm here simply to share some things that have worked for us that may also work for you. I'm going to open up an invitation for you to talk to us and make a blueprint for your trading, a free strategy session to maybe plan your trading future for free. Now, those calls will be limited. Like I said, I'm not here to make any money off of you, but I am going to be completely 100% transparent. There are a limited number of those strategy sessions just because it's free and because hundreds and hundreds of traders see this presentation today. And I just want to make sure that you get a place in line if you'd like it. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. First things first, here's the free stuff. You can click the link that's in the chat box and grab that stuff. I'm so happy to be here with you. I went and worked out today. Let me tell you, it kicked my butt. I went to church in the morning, went to work out afterwards, got some of this presentation, added some things for what's happening in the markets right now, and now we're here together. So I hope that however we find you here today, that you're excited for a great week of trading, and I'm so happy to be here with you. So welcome. We're going to do a mini masterclass. We're going to kick that off in just 1 second here. I just want to say thank you again for being here with me. I know your time is valuable, and we're going to cover a lot of ground. And thanks for letting me wait a moment to give folks a chance to get here on time. Now, you may be watching the presentation on a replay on Sunday. We're doing this live on Sunday, August 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern time, but you may be watching the replay. And if you are, that's great. Everything that you're going to watch during that replay is completely valid, and still the trade idea that I'm going to give you for tomorrow is 100% still going to work. And so we only run this replay for a few hours, actually. So if you're still watching it on Sunday or at the latest Monday morning, I just want to say welcome. I'm happy that you're here. And that free stuff will be available to you. And I'm going to take that link down a little bit later on. But for now, it's up. And let's get this thing started. I know you want to move things along, and so do I. So enough introductions. Let's get to the mini masterclass, because interest rates right now are sounding big alarms for a market pullback. And I want you to be able to take advantage of it. Now, this is not doom and gloom. I'm very optimistic about some stocks and I'm very pessimistic about others. And I think there's opportunity with both. Tim Sykes and I have worked together now for, well, we've known each other for like 16 years, but we've been working very closely together for about the last 3 months. And I think we share a lot of these big picture views of the market in common. And sometimes it's really good to get a big picture overview of what's going on in the market. And I like this perspective. I like leaving you better than I found you. And I want to finish this presentation with one goal in mind for your confidence level to increase dramatically. And I want you to understand the big picture of what's happening in the economy right now and why it's so important to get an idea of what's going to happen overall so you're not frightened and you're completely comfortable with whatever market pullback is happening right now and is about to get a little bit more significant, but that you can still find massive opportunities every single day that you trade. So that's what the goal is here. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. All right, you clicked the link, but actually already have the yearly membership. That's great. All right, so some of you are already involved with the Tim Sykes family of companies and stuff like that. And listen, like I said before, I'm not here to make any money off you. What I'm actually here to do is open up some ideas and open up a conversation with you. And I'm so happy that you're here. All right. One of the headlines in the news in the last 2 weeks was that Fitch, the ratings service, downgraded the U.S. debt. And the article goes on to say two very important points. Interest rates have been rising, and the interest payments on the debt that we have in the country are now 10% of GDP, gross domestic product. Back when we used to have these problems, it was 1%, or in the developed world, in the first world countries, it's 1%, which means that there's a bit of a debt problem going on. Like, big surprise, right? We have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of debt. I mean, all of us already know that. And for all of us who just feel like that's a problem, we already know this. But Fitch finally downgraded the debt for one very important reason. We don't have the political will in this country to get along anymore. And that's because some politicians want to keep spending money on their favorite projects, and every politician has their favorite project, and nobody's willing to compromise. And everybody thinks that their thing is the most important thing. And maybe there is one most important thing, but we can't fund everything. And somehow we've gotten to the point in our country where people feel entitled and the government is going to hand out as much as it can to everybody. And we just don't have enough to go around. And Fitch, the rating service, recognized that. And I don't think it has truly sunk in all the way. And I don't think people truly understand that we're on the cusp of a market pullback due to interest rates. Interest rates are the major driver of all economic activity. When interest rates are high, it costs more money to borrow. Your credit card minimum payments go up, and so does the U.S. government's minimum payments on its debt. And when we can't borrow as much because our interest payments went up, we stop spending as much. And when we stop spending as much, companies make less money. And when companies make less money, their stocks go down. And when stocks are going down, the market goes down. And it's a vicious cycle that's very difficult to get out of, and that's called a bear market. Now, I don't think that we're headed for an extended bear market, but I do think we're already seeing a pullback in the market. And so I want to give you a big picture overview, and I want to give you a couple talking points. So the next time you're talking about the markets with friends or whatever, you're going to be prepared. And by the way, do you like talking about this stuff? Is this interesting to you, this big picture stuff? Here's what I want to say. I want you to walk away with one very important point. When interest rates go up, the stock market goes down. That's it. When interest rates go up, the stock market goes down. Interest rates up, spending down. Spending down, company profits down. Company profits down, stocks go down. And here's the kicker. Alan Blinder, former Federal Reserve governor, in his most recent book that I read, talks about the fact that it takes about a year, historically, for the big interest rate hike to take effect. So we're headed for a September-October market pullback. That's, generally speaking, it takes about a year for all of that to filter through the system. Here's the good news. There's going to be some great opportunities. That's the good news. There is no bad news. The bad news is a lot of people, I guess, aren't going to come to this presentation and they're never going to find this stuff out. Well, you are. So I want to make it worth your while. That headline might be scary. It might even be forgotten already by some people, but hidden inside of those headlines is a great opportunity. So let's go to the charts. We're going to look at Apple, Tesla, and the NASDAQ. And I'm going to give you some forecasts. And I think if you like this stuff, you're going to have a really great time today. So once again, I'm here on behalf of my friend Tim Sykes. My name is Rob Booker. I'll introduce myself to you a little bit more in a moment. I'm here in Houston, Texas, and I've been a trader for 23 years. Tim Sykes and I have known each other for 16 years, and now we work together inside of the Tim Sykes Challenge. And my job is to trade live together with members of the Tim Sykes Challenge. And what I thought I would do, and what I asked Tim if I could do, were some information sessions like this, to bring more information about what we do inside of the Tim Sykes Challenge to the whole world. Because it's kind of a mystery, right? You know there's millionaire traders from the Tim Sykes Challenge. You've heard maybe of Jack Kellogg, who made $12 million. But there's a mystery, like what is inside the challenge and what do we really do there? And that's why I kind of want to blow the lid off of it. I want to sort of expose what's going on inside of the Tim Sykes Challenge. Like everybody ought to be able to see some of the things that we're doing. And although we can't work together every single day unless you're inside the challenge, I can give you some trade ideas. I can give you some free trading lessons. And I can build some trust with you so that in the future, when you're ready to have a mentor, you might pick two mentors, Tim Sykes and me. Okay? So let's go to the charts. Let's without further ado, let's take a look. The most popular stock in the world is Tesla. Tesla's the most popular stock in the world, I think, just because it captured the attention of so many people when Elon Musk got this company profitable and then turned it into a cash machine. But now what's going on here? What's going on is it's dipping. It's pulling back. This giant, nice move upward has been, there's a pullback going on now. And so what I want to show you is that we've pulled back to a level right here at about $245 a share. And that's the deepest pullback that we've seen really all year long. That's the deepest pullback that we've seen in quite a while. Well, I mean, there's probably more to come though. There's a price target at 188 and $213 a share. And I'm going to go out, I'm going to just go ahead and make a prediction here. I'm going to make a forecast. I think Tesla will hit $213 a share. And I think it will do that before the end of the year. And that's where we might see a bounce. So there's two things. There's an opportunity to sit back and let it drop, just let it happen, and then watch the bounce after the fact. When things go on sale, finally people perk up and want to buy it. Now, why would Tesla go down? When interest rates go up, people don't borrow as much money to buy a car. And when people don't want to borrow money to buy a car, fewer cars are sold. Guess what? If fewer cars are sold, then the stock prices are going to fall. And Tesla really depends on low interest rates. We don't think about it a lot, but Tesla depends on interest rates to be low, so it costs less money and it's easier to qualify to buy a car. Tesla is probably going to drop because of that. Now, over the course of the next few weeks, it might bounce around and go sideways, and a lot of people might forget that I ever said this, and it may look like I've gotten it wrong, but historically, in 23 years of trading, and especially when I manage money, I'm always early. Like I figure this stuff out really early. And so by the time my theory and reality line up, a lot of people have forgotten it. And a lot of people have told me that I'm an idiot. And I'm totally comfortable with that. And I don't really care. I want you to be prepared. In August, September, when Tesla dips, I don't want you to be surprised by that. And then later in the year, when it bounces in the $213 a share area, I don't want you to be surprised. I want you to be ready for it. I want you to go to your friends. Oh, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Carvana. Carvana's even in a worse spot. Hey, by the way, do you like looking at the charts? Is this okay? Hi, Stephanie, challenge student. That's great. Do you like? David says, hey, is this live or a recording? David, I'm just going to let you figure that out. I'm just kidding. It's live. It's 100% live here on Sunday, August 13th. And it's 12:14 p.m. Central Time. I'm happy that you're here. If you're watching the recording, though, everybody, don't worry about it, because all of the trades I'm discussing here are going to be valid, and you're going to want to pay attention to this. And all that free stuff that I posted in the chat, all that stuff's going to be available to you. All right, let me know if you like this stuff. Carvana's in a really tough spot. It's not really a well-run company. It's even more dependent on low interest rates than Tesla is, and those giant car vending machines that they have are very expensive to maintain, and they don't really have a competitive advantage against CarMax or other used car dealers. Carvana's in big trouble. It has posted a profit recently because they kept a lot of loans on their books. What happened was last year they made a lot of loans. So if you wanted to buy a car, Carvana made the loan to you. They basically gave you the car and they loaned you the money and you were going to pay them back with interest over time. And they didn't sell those loans off to banks. They kept them on the books. Well, because they had a cash crunch, they started selling those loans off. And they've done that in the last 2 earnings cycles, and they've turned a profit because of it. But they're running out of loans to sell. And when they run out of loans to sell, if they don't sell cars profitably, which they don't, they won't turn a profit. And if interest rates have risen, which they will, and they will continue to do so as it filters through the economy, fewer people will qualify to buy a car. And when they go online and they fill out a loan application at Carvana, Carvana is going to deny them. And then Carvana won't sell a car. You see where I'm going with this? And then Carvana's expenses are going to go up because they have to borrow money to survive as a company. And their interest rates are going to go up. Eventually, Carvana drops to probably about $15, $14, $13 a share. Carvana is probably one of the riskiest stocks to buy right now, even though it might jump on the short selling, short squeezing and stuff like that. Carvana is in a lot of trouble. And this is one of those stocks that gets meme stocked, or lots of people, it's popular with them and whatever. But just like Bed Bath & Beyond and just like other unprofitable, popular companies at the time, it has to come back down to earth. Every company that loses money will eventually fall. Every single one of them. In order to pay dividends and in order to have, success as a company, you got to make money on every single product you sell, and Carvana does not. So be careful. So what does that mean for Apple? Well, Apple's been dragging down with the rest of it because in order to buy an iPhone, a lot of people borrow the money. And iPhone sales have dipped. It's the major driver of Apple's profit. 50% of all of Apple's profit comes from iPhone sales. But their iPhone sales are dipping. Their services income and their app store stuff, that's going up. Apple is due to fall also, probably less than some of these other companies because Apple's got product lines and stuff that's coming out. But let me tell you, once again, don't get caught off guard when Apple probably falls to around $173, $174 a share. Not enough to make a trade out of that, but it's probably going to drop a little bit further, and then there's probably going to be a bounce. Inside the Tim Sykes Challenge, and for those of you that want to join me and do that, we're going to find some ways to profit from a bounce trade. When everybody starts to panic, Apple dips, and most people are jumping out of it, that's when we're going to jump in. The warning signs came months ago in June when the largest volume of the day was bearish. And then again, most recently, in just on the 4th of August, big bearish volume means the sellers are a little bit in control. So what does that mean for the NASDAQ? The NASDAQ is also just teetering a little bit. I think the bigger drop in the NASDAQ comes probably around late August, early mid-September, or maybe at the latest early October to around $350. And like I said, it could take so long for this to actually happen that people will forget that I said it, and I will kind of look like an idiot. And I know that the stock market has been strong this year, but every market increase comes with a pullback from time to time. All right. That's a general market overview. And I did that on behalf of my friend Tim Sykes. And I did that for you because I want you to be armed and ready, and I want you to understand what's going on. In the big picture, once again, rising interest rates mean less spending. Less spending means company profits go down. It also means in order for companies to maintain their businesses, their borrowing rates go up. So companies that need to borrow money to survive pay higher interest rates, and eventually those companies fail. You'll see the news. You'll see it very, very soon. Just Google it later or after this presentation. Google it, venture capital news. Just type it in. I guarantee that there is less venture capital being invested, that the venture capital firms are pulling out of investments. They're letting the companies shut down that aren't profitable. These are the early warning signs of a dip. Don't get caught off guard. Be ready for it. I'm here to help you do that. Now, the good news is that every day, no matter what's going on, there are great stocks to buy. I mean, look at AAOI from Thursday and LGHL. AAOI printed this brand new pattern that I've been working on for 8 months. This green arrow is a dip and rip indicator that I built. Now, I built this for challenge students. I built this for members of the Tim Sykes Challenge with whom I work every day in a live trading webinar. And Tim and I are actually going to meet and talk about this in the coming week. Not only was volume increasing on the buy side, but I got this indicator. Now, how is this built? I'm going to get deeper into that in a moment, okay? All you need to know is that it's doing the heavy lifting for me. It told me this stock was going to dip, and then it told me this stock was going to rip. So despite interest rates and despite everything else, there are these spectacular day trades that happen, like LGHL. It printed a very early warning sign. I love this, on the 9th on this rip indicator. And then again, just the other day on the 10th. These are, I told you, I told you I build things that give early signs that make me kind of feel silly because nothing happens at first. I just want that to sink in for a minute. I'd rather be early than late. Right? You can find trades like this. We can find them together if you want. And I'm sure some of you are already asking, how is this built? How do you get it? All right, let's keep going. All right. Can you trade those? And if you can, how can you trade those? These are crazy stocks. No matter what else is happening in the market, even on days where the market is crashing, there are great stocks. And absolutely, yes, you can trade these. Even if the market dips, even if the market crashes temporarily, there will be great stocks, and you can find them with me if you want. So here's how to trade one of these bad boy stocks. It's the challenge, dip and rip, scan, pattern, and everything else. Some of you saw Yell, Y-E-L-L, the trucking company. Over the course of the last month, especially at the end of July, beginning of August, Yell announced that they were going to have to go into bankruptcy. And then strangely enough, the stock rose 400%. Say what? The reason, I'm sure this, once again, do you mind if I geek out on this stuff? I hope you don't mind if I geek out on all this stuff, because I love this stuff. I live for this. You want to know why it went up? It went up because larger investors realized that Yell had assets. They had about $1.5 billion in debt, but they may have on hand billions of additional dollars in assets, trucks, and real estate, cash in the bank. So although they weren't going to survive as a going concern, they had assets. They just couldn't dump them quick enough. And so they knew they needed to declare bankruptcy. So some investors, some big time money, hedge funds and so forth, they bought the stock because they wanted to own the assets after the creditors are paid off. There would be some assets to sell off, and the company might be worth more in parts than it was as an operating company. So it went 400%. And guess what? A lot of traders missed that move. The dip and rip, the challenge dip and rip, as I call it, is so awesome because it gives you a second chance. It's like a mulligan on the golf course. It gives you a second chance to do something. Right in this area here, my brand new indicator started firing off these warnings that the second move was about to happen. You know, maybe we missed the first move because it's kind of scary to buy a stock that is going into bankruptcy. But the second move, we don't want to miss that. Have you ever missed a move on a stock and then just kicked yourself and thought you could have seen it, and then the second time around missed it again? We might miss the first move, but we're not going to miss the second one. Not anymore. So here's what you do. You identify a stock that has moved 100% or more, and you wait a few days, like 2 or 3 days, for a pullback, and then you buy that reversal. So this circle identifies that sweet spot. That's your sweet spot. And here's how to trade it. Now, the trick is to not get stuck. We don't want to hold on to these stocks for a long time. We want to just hold these stocks for a day or at most overnight. This is it, my friends. Once again, I told you I built something, and it's one of my, so I don't know how to cook. I'm not very good at I tried to be a good dad, and I knew how to pick stocks early. I figured that out. I don't really know how to do anything else. All right. So we're like, my capabilities are minimum. They're minimal. All right. But I did learn how to get in early on stuff that's going to pop. So what my indicator looks for is for a dip. And I'm going to use a word here that some of you have heard before, and maybe some of you haven't, an oscillator. I combine a bunch of indicators that look at highs and lows and that give me a statistical likelihood that something is bottomed out. And the trick is it's multiple layers of confirmation. So if one indicator says it's down too far, the second indicator says it's down too far, and the third indicator says it's down too far. And it says that on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the hour, and the 4 hour, all together at the same time, my indicator starts flashing these warning signs that it has gone down too far, too fast, and it's ready for that second move. Now, the mathematics behind it, I'm happy to share all of that with you. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you a powerful way to get an early warning sign. I don't want to do the math, so I spent 8 months building something that could fire off an indication and even an alert. And this is the culmination of that. So if that gets you fired up and excited, if you feel like you might want to do more of that, then I figured something out. And we can expand on this. We can do some of this stuff together. We can even look at one more today. All right. So we'll come back around and we'll look at one more for sure. I love being here with you, by the way. I loved raising my kids. My son just graduated from military school with his high school diploma. He really struggled and he found himself and his future. I'm going to cry, so I'm not going to say it. My daughter and I just spent a magnificent summer together, and she went back to school. And all I do now, I have no other distractions in my life. All I do now is I talk to traders like you. I do free presentations like this because I love all traders, not just traders who are inside the challenge. And then I really love to work with traders inside the challenge to help them level up and pursue their dreams of becoming a millionaire trader like 30 other millionaires in the Tim Sykes Challenge. That's all I do. I don't have anything else going in my life, on nothing else. I am obsessed with this. And I know that sounds weird, but that's why I'm here today. I'm not here to make any money off of you. I'm here to help in whatever way I can to round out, what's going on, to fill in the gaps in putting the pieces of the puzzle together so we understand. Like sometimes getting to where you want to go requires you to identify where you are on the map. You are here. So right now you're in the middle of what could be a pretty significant market pullback coming up. And you just happen to have arrived in this webinar right around the same time that I built a brand new indicator that shows me when stocks early are going to bounce. So what are you looking to get out of this presentation? How can I help you? Let me know what you're struggling with the most in your trading or even in your process of starting to trade. So I'm happy that you're here. My name is Rob Booker, and I'm here on behalf of my friend Tim Sykes. Tim and I work together. He does the training and the courses and the education, and then I do the live trading stuff. It's a really great combination. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm so grateful for the chance to work together with him. He's, like I said, I flew out to Las Vegas in 2007 to interview him for my podcast at the time, and we just became instant friends. We have a lot of personality traits in common. And anyway, the point is we became friends. And a few months ago, Tim asked if he could acquire the rights to my live trading group that I have in the morning. And I've been trading for 23 years, and I have this small group of traders that I've been working with for a very long time. They teach me more. They make more money than I do on a lot of days. And we combine forces, Tim Sykes and I. And so I'm here on behalf of Tim. He's the leader of the Tim Sykes Challenge, the creator of what I would call the most successful program for traders ever. So that's why we're here. So once again, I'm a big believer in you are here. What am I doing here again? I'm here to round out your knowledge of what's going on in the market. I'm here to open up the inside of the Tim Sykes Challenge and let you look inside and poke around and see what's going on in there. I'm here to introduce you to some trading strategies that most people never get the chance to learn. And then I'm here to sort of tell you what's new. Like Tim and I are working together, and we've got a couple of spots open up in the challenge. We'll talk more about that later. You don't have to, there's no obligation here. And if you'd like to, at the end of this presentation, or even right now, if you want to click the link in the chat, you can actually set up a time to do a strategy session or just a trading blueprint. But I'm getting ahead of myself, and we don't need to talk about that yet. You may have heard about some of the millionaires inside the Tim Sykes Challenge. This is Tim Grattani, just a regular kid in Ohio who wanted to be a millionaire and wanted to be a trader. And in 2015, watched a video about Tim Sykes online and decided he wanted Tim Sykes to be his mentor. And so Tim Sykes invited him to be a part of the challenge. And Tim Grattani went on to turn a $1,500 account into what is now over $18 million in profits. A very not typical result, right? Most traders lose money. So what in the world did this guy do? Or Mari, who was in college a couple of years ago and wanted to become a millionaire trader. She came to a presentation very similar to this. And here's what happened. Around that time, Tim started offering a trading blueprint call. It's called a strategy session, and it's free. You're going to love it. It's just a chance to get on the phone with the same advisors who built a trading plan for Tim Grattani and Matt Monaco and Bryce Two and all the other millionaires to build a trading blueprint. And she's like, okay, well, fine, I'll build a trading plan. And in the process of building that trading plan, she was identified as someone who had a lot of potential. And Tim Sykes invited her to be a part of the challenge. And he guaranteed it, which he will do for you too, if that's something you want to do. She's now sitting on top of an over $1 million trading fortune, starting from scratch with no previous trading experience. How is this possible? Like, that's why I'm here today. Why are we here? What's in it for you? I want to introduce you to the things that they did. Now, I'm a detail person. So I'm going to tell you not just how they trade, but I'm going to tell you exactly what they did. They set up a call. They built a trading blueprint. They built a plan, like a map. This is where I want to be. This is where I am now. And they worked with somebody who cared enough about them to build that plan with them, who had seen success before. And then they started implementing that plan, some on their own and 30 plus traders inside of the challenge. So I'm going to do my best to get to your questions as we go. I started trading actually in the year 2000, and I lost my first account. It was out of money and super disappointed. I turned to trading because I had a bunch of law school loan debts. I went to law school, didn't want to be a lawyer. Man, graduate school and college is so expensive now. And I just was kind of lost. So I was out of money. I met my mentor, who was a friend of a friend. And this mentor was a money manager, hedge fund manager in Switzerland. His name was Thomas. And Thomas offered to train me, but he wanted to be paid for his time. So I borrowed the money. I paid Thomas, and he mentored me. It turned out we thought we were going to work together for 6 months, but we enjoyed it so much. He really kind of helped me for about 11 months. And he taught me how to trade. A few years later, I was featured, I still can't believe it, in the book Millionaire Traders. My broker recommended me to the authors, who then became my friends. I went on to write my own book after managing some money. I managed a few $1 million as a commodities trading advisor for about 7 years. I no longer manage money professionally. I just work together with you and manage my own account. Started the first podcast for traders, which turned into a radio show. And, listen, trading has just been a wonderful, wonderful career for me. And I never thought it would be possible. And I really didn't dream at the time when I was failing. I didn't really dream of having success and consistency. And a mentor is really what made the difference, someone who could give me some feedback. So I've been trading for 23 years. I met Tim Sykes 16 years ago. I sold my podcast and my radio show. I was actually on for an hour before Dave Ramsey for 2 years on AM Business Talk Radio. Sold the radio show and the podcast and the YouTube channel, retired from all of that side of the business. And now all I do is trade my own account, and I work together with Tim Sykes inside of the challenge. And my kids are now teenagers, and they're out of the house now. So I'm here alone. So I got a lot of time to work with you if you'd like it. Tim invited me to be the live trading expert inside of the challenge. And I'll tell you more about what that means. But most importantly, what's in it for you is you're invited to trade with us if you say yes. All right. Let's talk about how to find big stock moves. We're going to go back to that indicator that I just built and the 2 most important secrets. And I'm going to extend an invitation to you to trade with me or to just build a blueprint. If you want to build a plan and you don't have a trading plan, I want to get you one. So we're gonna get a trading plan for you. We're gonna put one together, and I'll tell you all the steps necessary. You can raise your hand and say, "Yeah, I want to do a trading plan," if you'd like. All right. So you thought we were just going to talk about one stock, but there's so much more to this presentation. So let's dive deeper into this indicator that I built. So I call it the dip and rip indicator, and it's the challenge dip and rip indicator because so far the only traders besides you who have even seen this in the last 2 days are members of the Tim Sykes Challenge. And it prints an arrow on my charts, and I use it on the 5-minute chart. So for those of you brand new to trading, a chart is a visual representation of the price of a stock. The green squares represent price going up, and the red ones price going down. The arrows that you see here are early indications that it's about to jump. Strangely, and this was what took me 8 months to build, I wanted to know 2 or 3 hours ahead of time, which sounds odd. Sometimes all I'll get is about 45 minutes of warning, but I wanted some warning time. Have you ever only found out about a trade that was going to move after it was done? Have you ever gotten an alert from somebody and it was like, well, thanks for the memories, dude. That's way late. Well, I have a 2-word statement that we used to say when I was growing up, and it starts with an F word and it ends with a that. F that. I don't want to find out about trades after they're done. And if I miss a trade like VTGN 2 days before this happened, I want a second chance at it. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I built this. If it seems too good to be true, it still seems too good to be true to me too. I can't believe, like, I had a breakthrough on Wednesday night of last week. It just came suddenly. Like, I've been working on it for a long time, and I was just reading the newspaper actually at the kitchen counter, and I realized how I could tweak this. And what I did was I took the same oscillators and indicators that I was using, and I didn't just have them on one 5-minute chart time frame. I told the indicator to give me a warning only when it gave me the same signal on multiple time frames at the same time. And it became a very rare event, and it gave me a very, very early warning. I traded TNGX the very next day. I tested this out with real money the very next day inside of the Tim Sykes Challenge morning live trading webinar, which I call the 9:22 a.m. club because we start at 9:22 Eastern time. And I traded this live. So, keep in mind, the only thing you need to do to become a trader is do two things: find the right stock and trade it the right way. This indicator shows me which stock is ready to go, and it also tells me which direction to trade it. And the fastest way to learn how to do stuff like this is to get a mentor. Like, the best thing that I can imagine for each one of us is, well, for me, what made a real difference for me was having somebody give me feedback every single time I took a trade. I mean, I just remember having like these breakthroughs every day that I worked together with Thomas, that hedge fund. Every single day I worked with him, there was a breakthrough. Like, I never realized that before. Oh my gosh. And then I would implement the new thing that he taught me, and then I would try it out, and then he would give me more feedback. And it was like having a coach. So you can watch for those trades with me if you want, and you can get feedback inside the challenge if you want. I'm just really glad that you're here. Listen, I know what it's like to want to have a better life for you and your family. When I started trading, I had hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt from law school and a failed business. My business partner had fled the country, and I needed to trade my way out of that with my back against the wall. And I remember feeling anxious and worried, and I wanted it to happen quick. And I thought, is trading the answer? And then I promptly lost my first account. That was really tough. I know what it's like to want a better life for you and your family. Or maybe you are retired and you just want to have a little bit more income. Whatever it is, I want you to be successful. That's the reason that I'm here. So are you ready? Let me know if you're excited and ready. Listen, I wanted to be a trader for my family. I wanted to spend time with my kids. I wanted to be a trader for myself too. I wanted to be able to take care of my kids, but also take care of myself. I'm going to go one step further and just say, for much of my life, I still am really, I was the person who took care of other people. And I kind of put myself last for a long time. I wanted to be able to take care of my family, but I still wanted to have nice things every once in a while. A better life in general. I didn't want to have to worry about what to order at the restaurant, right? I didn't want to have to worry about going on vacation, but staying in a dirty place with my kids. I wanted a better life. But the reality was that I was missing trades. You might be missing some trades. You might only find out about the big movers after they're done. Enough of that already. We're not going to do that anymore. I'm here to help you if you want, but I'm also here just to share information with you if you're excited about it. You might be brand new. You might just be starting out. Well, you're welcome here. You might want to learn what to do right now, and you want the information in the simplest and easiest form possible. Or maybe you're making mistakes. Like, you've made money, but then you give it back. Have you ever done that? Made money in the morning, giving it back later on? Or made money on a Monday, giving it back on a Friday? And that starts to make people wonder if this is a real path to wealth. Well, successful trading is about walking a path. And in the same way that toddlers don't learn to walk by reading a university textbook about the human body, people don't learn about trading really from books. The best way to learn to walk is to have somebody hold your hand, you balance against them, you find your footing, and eventually you can do it on your own. The best way to learn about trading is to have somebody take you by the hand, help you find your balance, and then eventually you're doing it on your own. Eventually you're like a toddler running around the house, crashing into stuff. That's what successful trading is. It's a path. And it's easier to walk that path with someone who knows the way. So I'm going to share some lessons from my career as a trader. Some of them are new. This will tie into that trading system that I want to teach you. So with your permission, what I'm going to do very briefly is share 5 lessons from my career as a trader. I'd like to check in with you before we do that. Larry says he would love a trading plan. That'd be great. So what I'm going to do now is there's no obligation to click this link. This is not a shopping cart. This is not this is not this is not a checkout page that asks for your credit card. This is simply a page that you can go to book a free strategy session. It's not some kind of weird strategy session. Nobody's going to twist your arm. You're going to love the call. So what I'll just say here is I've posted the link just now. It's a good time to grab those. All of those spots will be gone. There's probably at most 10 of those. There's 111 of you here now, and there will be about 300 people that watch this today. I just say that, like, if I were in the line at the Apple store or Samsung or whatever, and a new phone was coming out and the line started to move and I was saving a place for you, would you want to know the line was moving? That's all I'm doing here. It's not a link to a shopping cart or a checkout page. It's just a link to book a call. And the only reason we do that is we want to treat you with the same respect that you deserve. And we want to build a trading plan together with you. Whether or not you decide to work together with us, you deserve a trading plan. A lot of times you only get something if you spend money, or you only get something. And this is a different way of doing things. Yes, I would love to work with you and mentor you. I don't know if you're a good fit for that. Yes, Tim Sykes and I would love to team up and answer your questions. And I'm going to end this, right? I'm just going to stop talking about this, but I do want to get this across. I truly, whether or not you decide that working together with us is right, you deserve to have a trading plan. And it was done for each of us. Thomas, the hedge fund manager, did it for me. The expert advisors, the people you schedule these calls with, these are all friends and colleagues of mine who built a trading blueprint with Tim Grattani and Matt Monaco and Glenn Peters and all of the millionaires inside the challenge. And we do that because it was done for us. And then a very small number of you are going to raise your hand and say, I'm in, whatever it takes. I want to work together with Rob and Tim. And if you say you want to work together with us, we will find a way to make that happen. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about it. I apologize for those of you that didn't want to do any of that. I say that just for the benefit of those of you who are serious and you want to get some feedback and mentorship. Let's go. Here are 5 lessons from my career as a trader, including an in-depth look at this trading system. Here we go. I call this how to get rich trading stocks. Side note, most traders lose money, right? Not you anymore. We don't want that to be the case. Most traders find trading to be difficult. Let's simplify it. So let's talk about getting rich trading stocks. Number 5, you want to trade a proven system. Instead of like trading unproven methods or getting all over the place, have you ever felt like there's a system here, there's a system there, and there's an alert here, and there's an email here? What we want to do is simplify it and focus on one method from a mentor that you trust and who is already trading for a living. I call this the one stock system. I should write these words on the screen. I want to be careful with my time. The one stock system is what I believe in, a one stock system. This means every day I'm going to zero in and narrow down and narrow down and narrow down from 13,000 to 10,000 to 7,000 to 5,000 to 1,000 to 100 to 10 to one stock. And I do that. I mean, it took me 23 years to get here, but I do that because I don't want to be looking at too many things. So I just focus on one method and one stock. Number 4, you want to buy strong stocks when they're ready to jump. Instead of trying to catch a move or get a great price or whatever, we want to trade what's moving in the direction you want it to go and follow the flow rather than try to predict it. The stock market is like a giant river with trillions of dollars floating by. We don't need all of that, right? We're not trying to do that. Instead of trying to take in the whole river, you dip your canteen in the water. I'm going to say this multiple times today. Extraordinary traders, millionaire traders, do something very ordinary every day. They just take small profits over and over and over and over again on stocks that are already going in the direction they want to go. So I built a scan that's available inside the Tim Sykes Challenge to the people who trade together with me. And I'm going to tell you all about it here, just so you know where it is. I call it the Sweet Popper scan. And this tells me stocks that have jumped. Now, I missed the first move, which sounds like, well, then what's the use of it? Because I get it on the next move. The first move tells me to look at it. The second move is the one I can get. See, I'm all about doing stuff that actually works. And if I agree that it's okay to miss the first move, the first jump, I can trade it after the pullback. This has changed my life. It's made trading, like you can probably hear the sound of my, I'm so excited for tomorrow because I know exactly what's going to happen. Some stocks are going to jump like this, and then they're going to pull back, and I'm going to trade them on the pullback. So TNGX, it jumped the day before, it popped. Now I'm just banking small amounts. I'm at $300 to $500 a day during the summer because the summer months are a little bit slower, and then back up to $700 to $1,000 a day. That's my goal in the fall. And by the end of the year, I have some pretty aggressive goals to get back into the multi-$1,000 days. That's a long story. Those are my goals. That might not be your goal, but I'm going to always show you my live account. I'm always going to show you what I'm doing. I'm always going to show you how much I'm making or how much I'm losing. Okay? Always. I'm going to be as transparent as I possibly can be. And I will do those things that I've talked about $100 at a time, $200 at a time. I'm very methodical and careful about it. And if you want to sort of get a step-by-step way of doing things, I'm a good person for you to work with. Now, if things go wrong, you want to cut those losses really quickly. So I have a $170 win on, I think that was Wednesday, and a $29 loss. We never want to let a loss turn into something catastrophic. This is really the only lesson you need. The rest almost takes care of itself. Number two, we trade the sessions that no one thinks about. You could trade before the market opens or trade after it closes if you're short on time. Did you know you can do that? Every single broker will allow you, every broker, Robinhood, E-Trade, Thinkorswim, Webull, all of them. You can trade the electronic early morning session called the pre-market, or you can trade the electronic after-hour session called the after-hours market. At 4 p.m. Eastern time, the New York Stock Exchange bell goes off, and most people think that all trading is over. It's not. You do not need a special account. You do not need a large amount of money. You just need to do a limit order. And I can teach you how to do it, but here's the trick. The best part about this, and this is all I want you to remember, some of the cleanest, seamless, simplest trades happen in the after-hours session. That's when the big money is still involved, and all the ordinary, regular traders that didn't know about it go home. If you want to be one of the traders who knows about it, let's trade this together. We could trade this together if you want. VVPR doesn't do anything the day before, and then it pops after hours in the electronic trading session. Now, it's going to take me a little bit of time to teach you how to do this. I would say a 20-minute lesson. We don't have time to get into all of the details today, but remember this. The after-hour session is available to everyone. You can use a limit order with your broker, and you can implement a trading system that takes advantage of these clean jumps that happen after hours. I'm not promising you a result. I'm not going to promise you some dollar amount or some, listen, there's millionaire traders inside the Tim Sykes Challenge. There's lots of traders who have made thousands of dollars. I'm not here to promise you or get hypey or salesy. I don't even know if the challenge, I don't even know if you want to work together with me. So all I'm going to say is start with, do you think you could identify a trade like this together with me? Or do you think you would listen to me if I identified it? Do you think you would like to see me open up my trading platform, figure out the best trade size, implement it, and watch me deal with the emotions as it rises or falls? If that sounds good to you, imagine what life would be like if you got feedback like that. TRKA, and they just go on and on and on. Number one lesson is get a mentor. I know a handful of millionaire traders. I interviewed about 50 retail, home-based millionaire traders over the life of my podcast and radio show, and every single one of them had a mentor. Every single one. Every trader you see on the stage here at the Tim Sykes Conference in Miami, Glenn Peters was raising a family in his 40s, full-time job, 9 to 5, full-time job. He wanted to be a trader. He wanted a better life for himself and his family. He got over $1 million in 13 months. Jack Kellogg, $12 million. There's Mari, $1 million. Kyle Williams, and everybody else on the stage here. All had a mentor. No exceptions. Like I said, I'm glad you're here. I know what it's like to want to have a better life for you and your family. Trading might be the answer. And think about the American dream that we were sold, right? Work that 9 to 5, get a promotion, save your money, celebrate the holidays, mow the lawn, go to church. Is it truly possible to become a millionaire from that? Did you know it would take you 78 years if you saved $10,000 a year, which most people aren't? 78 years to get close to $1 million, even with compounding? And heaven, if the stock market drops first, it takes even longer. Does anybody have 78 years until 2103 to do this? I mean, if the dream isn't working for you, could trading be the answer? Well, I can't promise I have the answer for every single person, but I do know a path, and it's a path that works for some of us, and we love walking that path with you. And I could show you the way. All I need to know is the answer to one simple question. Are you committed to doing whatever it takes? Let me know in the chat. Now, with that established, I'm going to tell you about one extraordinary trader, and I'm going to invite you to learn how he did it. This is a trader who joined the Tim Sykes Challenge. As I mentioned before, the Tim Sykes Challenge is the program, the educational program that Tim Sykes built. Tim Sykes realized that going to medical school costs $300,000, going to business school costs $200,000, and trying to get on Wall Street is almost impossible for most people. So he built a program to teach others the lessons from from when he turned $12,000 into over $7 million. So he built an online program that includes lessons. That's what he does, and live trading. That's what I do, to help you become the best trader you can be. And he's been very successful at it. I don't think it's a stretch to say it's the most successful program for teaching traders how to succeed. And I think it's the only guaranteed program in the industry. Nothing like it exists. And this trader is Tim Grittani. He started with $1,500 in 2015 and a dream to become a successful trader. He's now at $18 million and counting. What is it exactly that he did? He got a mentor. He started with $1,500. He traded it successfully and became consistent. And then his parents or family member lent him another $10,000. So he started small, and then yes, his account size jumped. And I don't know the exact number, but after he showed some consistency, he added money to the account. And there's no wonder he's a happy guy. He was the second millionaire to ever come out of the Tim Sykes Challenge, and now there are over 30 millionaires. Did you know he wanted to quit several times before he even reached his first million? The biggest lesson is to never give up. He learned about mentorship. He decided it was right for him. He just went all in on the program. Never give up. So let's get to an exciting question. What kind of millionaire trader are you meant to be? Are you a student? Are you retired? Are you raising a family? So there's students inside the Tim Sykes Challenge who became millionaires. There's student-aged people like Jack Kellogg, who was parking cars for a living, started with $2,000 or $4,000 and was saving his money while he parked cars, and he went on. He's now at $12 million and counting. Retirees, I'm retired. I'm in the Tim Sykes Challenge. I'm retired. Like, I'm young and I'm in the best shape of my life, but I'm retired. Like, I know what it's like to feel that way. I got extra time in my hands and I'm spending it in the world of trading. Or if you're raising a family, I was at that stage. Glenn Peters was at that stage. Ellis Hobbs is at that stage. All members of the Tim Sykes Challenge. Maybe you have a small first account. Well, all of us did. Maybe you have little or no experience. All of us did, but you had a desire to learn. Maybe you're determined to win at trading, but you're struggling to bring it all together. Well, here's the good news. You only have to do two things right. You find the right stock and you trade it the right way. And I can do both of those things with you. Millionaire traders do ordinary things like $100 here, $170 here, $400, $50, $600. They do ordinary trades that aren't really that big of a deal for an extraordinary amount of time. They just keep banking small achievable gains over and over again. Do you think you could do that? Getting to $1 million is really just a series of steps, that one after the other. And we've listed out the steps. I mean, that's kind of cool, right? You simply have to decide that now is the time. What's your goal this year for your trading? Is it income? Is it retirement? You want to pay off a bunch of debt? At the end of this year, where will you be? Where will you celebrate? I mean, how's your family going to see you when you're having the success that you wanted and deserved when you started? What will your friends say? Well, I could tell you what they're going to say. They're going to ask you how you did it. But most importantly, how are you going to feel about yourself when you're confident in your trading here? How's that going to feel? So let's make a plan. Let's see if both of us can get exactly what we want before the end of the year. Deal? I'm ready to work with a couple of you. It's not going to be right for probably more than that, but I don't know. Let's see where we go with this. I would like to do that. I would like to I do better when I trade with you. I do better when I teach you. I do better when I have to show you my live account. Just keeps me on track. What do you want to achieve? Your job is to come up with what you want. Give me a number, and then my job is to help you get there. I'd like to trade every morning with you. Would that be okay? So as the leader of the morning trading group, I send out a watch list of stocks that could move, and then I join you in a live trading webinar, and I set up the trades in my own account. And I show them on the screen, and you can kind of see me deal with the emotions. And we trade. If you want, you could take those same trades or show me what you planned. We cash out, and then we move on with the rest of our day. Now, the process for creating millionaire traders is this. Tim's now done it with 31, 32 traders. You study that curriculum that Tim put together, the lessons designed to teach you everything you need to know. And then you trade live with me and you implement what you've learned, and it's not as scary anymore because you're with other people who care about you and you're going to meet the other members. So if you want to take the next step, here's what I got for you: a free strategy session. That means the same experts who helped Tim Grattani, the $18 million trader, put together a trading plan, they will do the same for you. We do that out of respect for you, and we do that because we're not just in it for the money or whatever. And if we show you the respect that you deserve, even at the beginning stages of your career, then when the time is right, and maybe it's now, and you want a mentor, you'll ask us to do that. And it's not right for everyone, but if it is, we're going to have a great time. So you can go to robbiebooker.com/challenge. If you're here on YouTube watching or something else, just type that link into your browser. It will take you to the scheduling session call. So let's imagine a typical day of trading for most people who trade alone. Boo. They walk over to their computer in the morning and they're just on their own. They find some stocks, they watch some videos, they get some alerts, they get confused. Maybe they miss a trade, or they take exactly the wrong stock and miss the right one. They get frustrated, they get out too early or too late, and then they stay up late that night searching for more stocks. Mike Patel actually just became a challenge member, and he was staying up for like 2 extra hours. This was when they did the trading plan with him. And he said, it really I don't know. What happened was the light went on for him when he realized he didn't need to stay up for 2 extra hours after the kids went to bed to look for stocks. That I was just going to do that in the morning. Saved himself 2 hours a day. So let's imagine a typical day of trading together with me and Tim Sykes. You walk over to your computer in the morning, you check the watch list, you set some levels on your charts together with me. We have a trading room where we're chatting and typing, and before we go live, and then we go live in a Zoom call, and you see my screen and my trading account, and we talk about our open trades. And you're going to meet Stephen Boise. You're going to meet Thomas Dentino. You're going to meet Diego Vasquez, Rita, Kimberly, Daniel, Faye. You're going to meet some extraordinary traders. And I don't like to talk about dollars because I don't want you to think that I'm making a claim about how much money you're going to make. Your job, you just tell me what it is you want to achieve, and then I'll make it my job to help you get there. I don't want to give you a number that's too low or too high. I want to be accurate and honest and transparent with you. And if you want the help, I want to give you some feedback. And here's the biggest one of all. Every 60 days or less, for those of you who say yes, I invite you to my office. We trade live together, 30 students there at a time. You get in-person help. We get you back on track if you're struggling. We eat together. We plan together. We set goals together. And all of this is free when you are a challenge member. This is the last group that came out to my office. I keep them small sometimes. I do bigger ones other times. Every single trader in this group is now my friend. I'm in touch with every single one of these people every day. And in case you're wondering, yes, this is like I teach all of the people in my life. I even have my friends, my family, they come to these sessions. My employees, they come to these sessions. Everybody in my life that is willing to learn how to trade, I will teach them. I'm happy that you're here. I rented out the ballroom at the Westin Galleria in January. I did my once a year big event, and everybody came for free. I flew Ellis Hobbs out, Matt Monaco out, Tim Bowen, I flew him out. I flew a millionaire options trader out, and we all sat in the same room for 2 days. And listen, you make a commitment, I make it right back to you. There we go. Tim Sykes and I want you to become the next millionaire trader student. And we've opened up the challenge to 2 to 3 of you who are here today. So you're invited to trade with me. I call it the 9:22 a.m. club because we trade in the morning. Right before the stock market opens, we get ready. Stock market opens, we take our trades, we get in, we get out, we move on with our day. Now, I've posted a link inside of the chat box. It's robbiebooker.com/challenge. And you could schedule a time to talk to the team if you want to finally get it right. Now, you'll be talking to Rich or Thielman or James or Chase. These are the experts who talk to the other millionaire traders in the challenge and built a blueprint for them. And for some of you, you're going to want our help. And then we're going to invite you onto the team. And if we invite you onto the team, you're going to have some work to do. But you're going to have a chance to finally get it right. You're going to have the chance to make more money than you've ever made before and get into the driver's seat. You're in control. And if doing this free call opened up the opportunity to work together, would that be worth it? Well, I can get you started today. If you're ready, so am I. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'm so grateful for the chance to spend some time together with you. The link is in there. I'll leave it up for a moment. I'm going to put it back on the screen here. And I'm going to sign off. I got a bunch of stuff to get ready for the rest of the week. I'm going to do a short session together with the challenge members here on Sunday. And we're going to get ready for the week of trading. I'm going to share with them some things that I already just shared with you. So you got it first. And I'm so grateful for you. Give it a try. Book a call. And hopefully I'll see you in one of our next live trading sessions. Oh, yes, we do trade every single day. That meeting happens every day. Okay, that was a great question. Sorry I missed that at the beginning. Okay, everybody. Bye for now. I'll see you on the other side.